Good morning, thriving warriors. Okay, Google, what is the date?
It's Monday, March 20th, 2023.
Okay, Google, what time is it?
It's 5:58 a.m.
Okay, Google, what is the weather?
It's 49 and partly cloudy. Today, it'll be partly cloudy with a high of 64 and a low of 47. And tomorrow, it'll be sunny.
All right, so good morning once again. Here we are at Career Services, where our goal is to help you get from point A to point B, where point B is better. It is a journey. Your life is a journey, and we get to be in control of it. Sometimes we don't like that, but that's how it is. So how do we help you along your journey? Well, through what we call breadcrumbs, just little things to pick up along the way to your journey to help make it easier to get to your destination, which we call successful. Good morning, Diana. Let's see, we call that successful. So we're here to help you. This is one of those breadcrumbs, but down below in the description, that is where more of the breadcrumbs are, about 17 breadcrumbs down below. So please don't just watch this, but subscribe, click the bell, thumbs up, share, etc., etc. You know the thing. Please do that. But those are where the important breadcrumbs are, which include a link to our online video, a link to the motivational video, which I watched this morning, is also, again, very good. Law of Attraction is the producer of those. We have links to a Jordan Peterson short, Daily Stoic short, Jack Rowland, links to Seth Godin's site and his transcript of his blog. Let's see, what else do we have? We have all kinds of things down below in the description. So please click on those. That's the important thing to help you get from point A to point B, to overcome some of the obstacles that you have, and there will be obstacles on this journey. So let's get started. Looking for Charlene. Where could Charlene be? This is like 2 days in a row. I haven't heard from Charlene. Hope all is well. I have to call her after this. Okay, our next is the introduction. But before that, what do we need to do, Diana? Coffee, right. So I'm going to use my French press out here, pouring coffee into my ginormous coffee cup. Not really. Have a little sip. Okay, next, pen, paper to write things down, because under the mental part of our program, which is learning, remembering, communicating, if you write it down, it's going to help you learn it. It's going to help you remember it, and it can help you also to learn, remember, and communicate it. Right. I seem to be a little bit distracted this morning. Maybe that's because day number 2, no Charlene. Okay, next, theme of the day. So the first or the next breadcrumb is you want to get from point A to point B. You want to become successful. It's simple. Understand that if you want things to change, you have to change. If I want things to change, I have to change. I can't remain the same and have my life change. And if you think about it, how would it be possible to have my life change if I didn't change? Life is always changing. This whole AI thing that Seth Godin is talking about, including in today's thing, is a big deal. Next. Good morning, Jeff. Good morning. Been monitoring the text messages with Apartment Guy, with Richard, so we can talk about that later if you'd like. Okay, next is our attitude of gratitude. So please write down, I'm so grateful and happy now that. I'm so happy and grateful now that. And then ask yourself the question, what am I so happy and grateful now that? Well, I might have a big meeting today in Kentucky. And tomorrow's another one with flexible. Okay, next, TED Talk. Okay, this is week 4, day 1 of week 4 in our 4-week neuroscience-oriented approach to success. Week 4, day 1, crisis leadership. Crisis leadership. Nancy Kane. Nancy Kane is a professor at Harvard. She has been very helpful for us over the years. And she talks about crisis leadership. So leadership is a polite term for power. Leaders get people to do things. I'm going to... Okay, thank you, Diana. Got it. Leadership is another term for management, which is another term for what it ultimately is power. Power is the ability to get other people to do what you want. And it goes on a spectrum and a horizontal vertical scale. So this one over here is crisis leadership. This is pure leadership. We're always somewhere in between, mostly down on this side where we're solving problems as opposed to a perfect world. So today we're doing this crisis leadership. Tomorrow it's going to be pure leadership, Stoicism, Marcus Aurelius, Nancy Kane talking about President Lincoln and Ernest Shackleton, using them as examples of crisis leadership. Tomorrow, pure leadership. And then the rest of the week, we're going to be doing Stoicism and Ignatius of Loyola, practical leadership. So Ignatius is an example that we can all learn from of practical, pragmatic leadership. Not crisis, not pure, practical leadership. Okay, so that's Nancy Kane. Attitude of gratitude, Seth Godin. Let's move ahead to Seth Godin. The ghost in the machine. The computer wants you to click this button. It thinks you asked for something else. He's mad at you. Thousands of generations ago, we evolved our way into a magnificent hack. It turns out that we can more safely navigate the world by imagining that other people have a little voice in their heads, just as we have one in ours. By projecting the narrative voice to others, we avoided fights that could be fatal. It's a powerful shorthand that allows us to use limited brain processing power to interact in complicated cultural situations. It worked so well, we began applying it to dogs, to lizards, and even to weather. It's a great place to find the origins of bad decisions and superstitions. Okay, our need to explain why things happen. The truth, of course, is that your cat doesn't have a voice in her head, but we still act like she does. And the cloud doesn't really have an angry face in it. A bug we see so often that we even gave it a name. Pareidolia is proof that the mistake is almost universal. And now AI chat is putting the common sense of this to the test. We know exactly what the code base is, and yet within minutes, most normal humans are happily chatting away, bringing the very emotions to the computer that we bring to another person. We rarely do this with elevator or door handles, but once a device gets more complicated than that, we start to imagine the ghost inside the machine. If it's working, keep at it. I mean, if it's working for you, keep at it. The problems arise when the hack stops working, when we start making up stories about the narrative intent of complex systems. Sooner or later, we end up with conspiracies, misunderstandings about public health, and opportunities missed in the financial markets. Emergent behaviors like the economy and computers and the natural world aren't conscious. Okay? They're not conscious. It's hard to say, I know I'm making up human-centric story to explain systematic phenomena, but it's a shortcut I use. Do you think the shortcut is helpful here? All right, moving right along. That is a very good deep one. I'm going to go back and look at that. The Eagle and the Beetle, Aesop's Fables, new twist. A beetle once begged an eagle to spare a hare which had run to her for protection. But the eagle pounced upon her prey, the sweep of her great wings tumbling the beetle a dozen feet away. Furious at the disrespect shown her, the beetle flew to the eagle's nest and rolled out the eggs. Not one did she spare. The eagle's grief and anger knew no bounds, but who had done the cruel deed she did not know. Next year, the eagle built her nest far up on a mountain crag, but the beetle found it and again destroyed the eggs. In despair, the eagle now implored great Jupiter to let her place her eagles in his lap. There none would dare harm them. But the beetle buzzed about Jupiter's head and made him rise to drive her away, and the eggs rolled from his lap. Now the beetle told the reason for her action, and Jupiter had to acknowledge the justice of her cause, and they say that ever after, while the eagle's eggs lie in the nest in spring, the beetle still sleeps in the ground, for so Jupiter commanded. Moral of the story, even the weakest may find means to avenge a wrong. I think Aesop got this one totally backwards. The eagle was being an eagle. The hare was being a hare. That is, eagles hunt hares. Eagles eat hares. No reason for the beetle to get involved at all. No reason for the eagle to pay any heed to the beetles begging it to not kill the hare. So the beetle was like an officious interloper. The beetle was able to do what it did only because the eagle didn't know it was the beetle. Had it, the beetle too would be dead. The beetle went too far. It caused many eagles to be unborn just to compensate for the life, the lack of respect over just a mere hare. Eagles have more value than hares because they take longer time to raise, et cetera, et cetera. They serve a higher purpose. Jupiter was wrong, but he probably acted from a false story from the beetle. Okay, so it is true that the weak people will always try to get even by doing things when your back is turned, when you don't know about it, when you least expect it, hiding in the shadows to hurt you. That is true, but Aesop kind of justified it, and there's no justification for that. The beetle was totally wrong. The eagle was just being an eagle, and perhaps had the eagle explained to the beetle in the beginning, look, I appreciate that you're sticking up for the hare, but this isn't any of your concern. Please don't make it any of your concern. This is between the hare and I. And then the beetle could have gone to Jupiter immediately and said, this is not fair. I demand justice. Let's kill one eagle, one unborn innocent eagle, in exchange for this hare that had made a mistake and got in the way. All right. So where are we? We're at 14:11. Time is racing. Charlene, good morning, director. We missed you. Where have you been? Okay, so moving right along. Fable. 3 more breadcrumbs. Table. Imagine your life is like you're the craftsman to build a table and put your accomplishments on the table. All the things you've accomplished. So when it's over, what's left is what's on the table. You want to have a sturdy table. It needs to be level, solid legs, firmly attached to the table. So when the weight of the objects that are on the table get placed onto the table doesn't collapse. I think it's a very good metaphor. What are the legs of the table? We help you build the legs of the table and attach them to the table. Mental, learning, remembering, communicating. Physical, fitness and health. Educational. If you can't control your emotions, don't worry. Somebody else will, and they'll probably take you out of the game. And lastly, spiritual. Belief that Jesus is the Messiah. After all, we live in a Christian world, so if you don't want to believe that, there's other reasons to understand it. First of all, spiritual is that which will pick you up when you get knocked down, and you will get knocked down. Everybody's going to get knocked down. Everybody needs to get up. It's easier to get up if you have something helping you get up. That's what we call the spiritual side. And belief that Jesus the Messiah is a good one. It's a very good one. And personally, but it's also practically a good one because we live in a Christian world. Okay, next. Thank you, Diana. Navy SEAL Maxim. You want to get from point A to point B, act such that yesterday was the only easy day. Do things just a little bit better today, put a little bit more energy into it, etc., etc. Do that. Embrace the suck, etc. Do those things. And lastly, what? If you're still here, that means God is not through with you yet. God isn't through with you yet. And with that, can I get an and cut? We're at 16:38. That went a little bit longer. Apologies. And cut.